and I'm a professional teaching fellow from Information Systems and Operations Management. It's being so quiet. I'm also known as a professional deviant. I won't go positive with it. And I would like to talk a little bit about what we do in information systems and information management to bring the graduate profile to life. I've been asked to talk about the new graduate profile in terms of our aspirations. In our scenario, in my talk today, I'm talking about the global citizens bit, which also links into the actual themes that we're using. Theme number 6, social and environmental responsibilities. So in particular, I think in my courses, I focus more on this little bit here. Graduates are expected to recognize the role for themselves in creating a sustainable future and be able to consider the social, cultural, environmental, blah, 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 of all that stuff. I will say I was a reluctant convert to social responsibility. I think my team, who are sitting there at the back, they're all deviants as well, know that I thought this was a load of nonsense at first. But over time, I became converted. And now I drive a Prius and all these kind of things, trying to do my bit. Now, our students have to be global citizens. So in my course, which is Information Systems 110, Business Systems, one of the key things that we have to do is excite students about the potential of information systems and operations management to make the world a better place. I started working on this course in 2010 with Professor David Sundaram, and one of the things that coincidentally happened at the same time was that our head of department at the time, Professor Michael Myers, set us a challenge to win the Microsoft Imagine Cup out of Seattle. Now, the Imagine Cup is a technology competition for students where they have to look around at the world, identify a problem, and say, hey, how can we use technology to solve this? And hey, that fits exactly with what we want to do in our course. Now, Microsoft led us to the UN, they're over there somewhere, and the United Nations, I think it was the late 90s, they developed these things here, the Millennium Development Goals. A series of 8 targets that they had for business, essentially, business and society, but through business, these 8 things that they wanted the world to achieve by 2015. Ambitious, and a lot of work was done to do them. But in 2015, they realized that, hey, they hadn't really managed to do all that yet, so they upgraded them to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. They added on quite a few more because they realized, some of the things couldn't be pigeonholed. Some of the categories were too broad. They created a set of goals under each of these, and they said by 2030 we shall have achieved all these things, hopefully. They're aspirational goals, right? We're all quite used to setting goals and trying to achieve them. Now, we use this as a framework in our course, Infosys 110, in order to give students something to think about in terms of sustainability and sustainable development. It's a high-level approach. We also do the low-level environmental stuff like green IT and all that kind of thing. But this is the main focus in terms of getting them to see the potential for information systems and operations management to change the world. So, zoom out again, and we zoomed into New Zealand, hopefully. Yep. Good thing. Right, so what did we do in our course exactly to introduce these topics? These are the very first 4 content slides from our course. So we start off with what is the overall mission of the business school and the course in particular. We want to build a bridge to a better world, and this is the better world that we envision in many respects. So a world with no poverty, no hunger, and all that jazz. And we have our vision, inspire, empower, trying to excite them, I guess is another word that we could use about technology, and sort of teaching them sustainability is a key thing for us. And of course we introduce the graduate profile and we go through that as well, because to be honest, students didn't really know what the graduate profile was. I have an army of teaching assistants and markers who help me, so I asked them, what is that? Say one thing about our graduate profile, and they all went, what's that? Right, so we put embedded at stage 1, and we go through about how we're going to link this to everything that they do. But that's not enough, because assessment is where students' minds get focused. So we built it into our assessment. So this is my assignment. Imagine a world where technology helps solve the toughest problems. So stage 1, we put all our students into groups, and then they are tasked to look at their communities and identify something that they think is a problem that might link into one of those sustainable development goals. But once they've done that, they've got to go away, analyze the problem, find some data, see if it's a real problem or is it just their perception, and then think about how they could use technology to solve that. We make them come up with a little video. I know we're massively over time, so I'll just play you the first 30 seconds of one. Now, I did just search for one at random. If you go on YouTube and type in Infosys 110, you'll find thousands of them, because we've been doing this for about 8 years. But this is the first one I clicked, and it was
Imagine
great.
living in a world where you're forced to live without food, water, warm clothing, shoes, or even worse, Wi-Fi. Believe it or not, there are children that are living without these basic needs and privileges every day. You may not notice it, but if you look around, 1 out of 4 children in New Zealand are living in poverty and are unable to enjoy their childhood. Some children haven't even gotten the chance to live as long as we have. Child poverty is a current but overlooked issue that is costing New Zealand $6 to $8 billion every year. The trunk of this tree represents the core problem, child poverty. The roots represent the causes of our problem. These are economic hardship,
Okay, I'm not going to play.
hereditary poverty, which is food, clothes, play funds, and benefits not like this app users on their smartphones. There are drop-off locations throughout the country.
So they also have to come up with a solution, and it makes the problem real for them. When we look at those big sustainable goals, often, no poverty, what does that really mean? What's poor? So they have to go away, they do a bit of research in their local environment, and they get very, very enthused about this. Now, I've done this with probably about 16 to 18,000 students. So I've carefully selected 2. People said, I actually enjoyed doing the project. In hindsight, that looks like that. Maybe some people didn't. Best part of the course, they were able to solve problems, use some of the theory. I think it works. Right? They get really enthused about it. They apply the concepts that we learn, and a lot of them actually come out with a real product. Some of our students have gone on and entered the Microsoft Imagine Cup. We won the worldwide competition in 2014. I'm not going to say it was our stage 1 students, but our stage 1 students regularly finish in the top 10 for New Zealand, right? So it's pretty awesome. And of course they go on to enter Velocity as well. Sometimes they win something. I know I'm out of time, but I'll also say I don't just do this at stage 1 because it's no good if we just do it once. So for example, in one of our stage 3 courses, this is my course on data visualization. I do pretty much the same thing, but with a different type of project. Get them to look at something worldwide and then go away and find data about New Zealand. And this really blows their mind sometimes. We did this for the first time last year during election season. And there was I remember one group came to me and said, in the news they keep saying how crap our education system is, but the data doesn't show that. I said, well, that's a great assignment then, showing that the message you're getting is wrong. But they were too scared. They didn't know. We can't do that. So they changed something else. They had to build an infographic. This is a web-based one, so you click on the things and everything works. So this one looked at peace, justice, and strong institutions. and they critiqued it. So a little bit of critical thinking in there, I think. Apparently we're the second safest country in the world, but they found out that actually we're not that great. There's a lot of domestic violence, and they looked at some of the stats around it, and they found all sorts of different things that were interesting. So let's go to the key takeaways. I think students need the opportunity to work on some of these attributes. They have to be embedded in assessment. If we just pay lip service to them in class, why would students take them seriously if we don't? I think making the assessment relevant to them is hugely important. If we just say analyze this scenario, which they've got no real stake in, then they can do it, but there's no enthusiasm. So that's why I always try and get them to see, find something that you feel strongly about. Look in your community for an issue or something that you think maybe is wrong. And I think having artifacts, so always building something that they can display to the world. My approach has always been sort of studio. If you build something, everybody anywhere can see it. That's why they work on YouTube or live on Tableau for the infographic. And of course, always challenge them to question their assumptions, especially around sustainability, because we get a lot of New Zealanders awesome at this kind of stuff, but maybe we're not. That's it. I've rushed through it because Rhiannon took 10 minutes more than she was. There she is. I was watching you.
I started 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
So, we have 5 minutes.
Right, so thank you. Any questions?